What's going on, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of our Montreal Expos Expansion Series. So we're checking in at September 1st. It's roster expansion day. We're just going to see how the team's doing, see how the league's stacking up, and then prepare for the playoffs. We won't be partaking in the playoffs, but we'll be watching them from home. So as you can see right away, Chris Bryant, Nick Ahmed, Trevor Story leading the league for batting averages. Sandro Fabian got 29 home runs. We're very proud of him in what is his rookie campaign. We did add Adolis Garcia, as we covered in the episode prior. He's got 40 home runs on the year. Fabian with 69 RBIs, Ahmed with 48, Bryant with 42. Phillips and Story, each with 20-plus stolen bases. Alex Fado, who's currently injured, has been our best pitcher so far, I would say. Kobe Allard and Tanaka have been serviceable. Wins, we're not even going to really care about because we're not winning games. Tanaka is looking like he's going to clear the 150 mark. Pepiot's going to clear 150. Fido might. It's going to depend on how many games he gets post-injury and how he performs. So let's take a look at pitching. Nothing too extreme here. You can see how we're lining up. We did add Caleb Ferguson at the deadline in a deal for Daniel Hudson and Mekhi Backstrom. We got Jordan Groshans as well. Jordan Groshans may factor in to our MLB team next year. Ferguson's been pitching well for us, as you can see. He's rocking the stopper role that Hudson had been occupying. Clevenger's been a pretty good closer for us. Overall, pitching's been pretty terrible, but we weren't really expecting it to be anything other than terrible. Pepiot's been serviceable. Tanaka's been serviceable. Kobe Allard's been serviceable. But most of the others have been pretty rough. Coming on over to batters, you can see Elizer Alfonso has been pretty rough in his rookie season, but he's more of a backup catcher, not really a starter, so we're not going to hold it against him. Hanley has actually been surprisingly solid. 14 home runs in 83 OPS plus. I mean, he's been bad, but compared to what we were expecting, pretty solid. Votto's been pretty terrible. I really was thinking we were going to get more out of Joey Votto. Mauricio Dubon's just been a super sub for us. He's our backup pretty much everywhere. He hops in whenever someone's hurt. Trevor Story's been good. We're looking at a 2020 season for Trevor Story. Chris Bryant's been good. Proud of him. Nick Ahmed has been good as well. Ryan Braun is about where I was anticipating. Kyle Lewis has been terrible. Forrest Wall, I feel, is unfairly graded here. He's been stealing bases for us. Hasn't really been getting on base. But he's also been forced to play everywhere. We've had him at second, we've had him at third, we've had him at short, we've had him at all three outfield spots. So he's just been bouncing around, and he's been up and down between the major leagues and AAA. We're going to trot out Billy Hamilton here in September for a bit. Try to get some stolen bases. Nothing too extreme that we're thinking is going to happen there. Fabian's pushing 30 home runs, but his OBP is 268, which is terrible. So he's hitting the ball hard when he hits it. And then Adolis Garcia has been by far our best player since we added him. He's accounted for 11 home runs, a 101 OPS plus, which once again is pretty much just average, but an elite defensive player as well. So we're really happy that we added him. He is a little older at 31, closing in on 32, but he should be able to man an outfield spot for us for at least the next couple of years, and we could look to sell him too. So we're very proud of that. Player development, if we come over here, you can see we did a pretty good job adding talent through the draft. Condon ranks 4th in the league as far as prospects go. He's already at A-ball, and he's already looking like he could be pushing the MLB, middle of next year or so. Schmidt comes in at number 69, looking like a future ace, but he's still got a lot of time to go. Kamar Rocker's looking good. Kamar Rocker will be in our rotation next year. Talon Bell's looking good, but still a long ways to go for the 19-year-old. Blaze Jordan's looking good. Blaze Jordan might be our first baseman for next season. Jackenzie Noel's looking great as well. He may be our first baseman as well for next season. We're going to see how everything lines up there. Nick Abrams got a ways to go. Baroa is in the majors now. Ager's looking pretty good. He's got a few more years needed, though. Tan Ming Yu was a scout find for us. Looks like he could be a future MLB pitcher. Jack Leiter could feature in our rotation next year. Consuega's looking pretty good. Then we got a whole bunch of these players. Jeremiah Jackson, Yoel Tejada. So, I mean, the future's looking much better than it was just, about 6 months ago. Player development budget, we're going to bring that down a little next year to just double what the baseline is. Draft budget, we're happy with where we were. We have a lot of money. We're expected to continue to have a lot of money. The fans are still interested. It's our first season, so I have to imagine they knew it was going to be a rough one. We'll come on over here. We'll look at players of the month. I haven't looked at them yet. So the AL batter of the month was Corey Seager. I'm a huge Corey Seager fan, so I'm very happy to see him doing well. We have Jordan Walker here. Jordan Walker looking like he could be an MVP level player. I would love to see that because he's been hit or miss in a lot of what I've seen. Sometimes that contact doesn't always develop, but here it looks like it did. Looks like he could be a superstar. Pitcher of the month, Marcus Stroman. Good for him. Blake Snell in the NL. That Jace Jung. And then we got Luke Little. Luke Little comes in and is an elite closer, closing in on 40 saves. He's at 31 right now. We'll see if he gets there or not. Just caught my eye here. Walker Buehler has re-signed with LA for the next 2 years. Good for him. That's a pretty cheap deal, too. Let's look at the pennant chase. Why not? So in the AL East, you can see the Guardians and Orioles looking pretty locked up for the playoffs. Guardians well overperforming their expected win-loss. Yankees and Red Sox both have a pretty rough chance to make the playoffs. Over in the North, it's just Minnesota and Detroit, and really it's just Minnesota. Over in the West, LA and Seattle are fighting for that final spot. And then in the South, we've got Tampa, we've got Texas, and we've got Houston. All have pretty good odds. We'll show the full standings in a second. The Mets and Phils over in the NL East, but really just the Mets. The Cubbies in the NL North. Blue Jays have a long shot chance to make the playoffs. Dodgers and Padres are both virtual locks. Braves and Cardinals, virtual locks. With the Diamondbacks, they stone's throw. Here are the full standings. As you can see, we're pretty freaking terrible. We're down with the Nationals. Utah is actually above us by a fair bit. We're down with the Rockies. If we come over to the AL South, very competitive division, I mean. NL West. NL West was competitive for the first month, but now you've got the cream of the crop. Just very interesting standings all around. I'm really, really interested to see how the league develops over the next year or two with the 4-team divisions and that kind of NFL style to make the playoffs. Next time I see you guys, we'll be covering the playoffs. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you tune in next time.